Hi, everyone. Welcome to Side Quest 9 of High Scores, High Stakes, the podcast that, like an Ubisoft game, has more secrets than it knows what to do with. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Luvva Luvva. And with me, as always, are my co hosts.
Hi, it's me, Cardinal. I am also here. Great to be here.
Good evening, good evening. It's Tomahawk here, and I am also glad to be here. How are we today, gentlemen?
I'm glad to be here.
At
You're so
least you're
polite.
glad. At least you're glad.
Yeah. Speaking of glad, I am glad to be discussing games with you boys once
Yes.
more.
Let's
Again.
do it.
So before we get into continuation of our last episode, tell me, Cardinal, what have you been playing this fortnight, mate?
Well, I always only play high AAA respectable games, nothing niche, nothing old. So I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 and its Endwalker expansion. So I've completed just about everything apart from the latest expansion because they had announced there's going to be a new expansion next year. This is the Final Fantasy multiplayer online game. That is which is me not purchasing Final Fantasy 16
Okay.
because
Fair.
I'm not paying full price yet.
You're sly man. You've learnt from me, I think, in that one. I really want to buy it, but it's not going down in price yet. It's not going down in price. Final Fantasy 14, that's the one Sherry
We shall hold fast.
always plays, isn't it?
No, Sherry played it for a little bit. I played with Sherry, and he played it for like 10 days.
Mhm.
And I think that's the extent of what Sherry plays any game.
Yeah.
Not to call anyone out who's could be here on this podcast, but he's and then he lost his login somehow or some account. And
Oh,
it's
that's right. He did. I remember that. Remember that conversation. But yeah, Sherry and his notorious short attention span. 10 days is a long time
That is quite
for
long for
Sherry
him.
to play anything. Like, I know through the years, the amount of games I've purchased because Sherry's like, oh, if you buy it, we'll play it together. It'll be great crack. And then you buy it, and then Sherry's already moved on to the next one.
And you feel as if you've wasted your money. Now, I'd hate to see PlayStation stats, like his completion rate is probably 0, but his games played is probably in the tens of thousands, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he does. If he finds a game, he tends to hammer it and play it and complete it in a very short space of time. So he does, but yeah, he moves on. It's crazy how fast he moves on in games. Like, as I said, I have lost count the amount of games I've bought to play with Sherry, and either play with him once or twice and then he moves on, or just by the time I've installed it, he's moved on. The Division's a famous one. The Division's a
Division.
famous one.
The
We need
Division
to talk
was
about the Division, because I think the Division 2, especially, I think we got it at different times,
Yeah,
but Sherry was like, "Oh yeah, Division 2, it's great. Let's all get it." By the time I got it, Sherry had been maxed out everything, played
yeah.
with some
he'd
randoms,
give up on it,
and
like, yeah.
had deleted it. I was like, "Oh, this is suddenly a lot lonelier."
This is fun. And then I got it. I didn't care for the setting at all.
I didn't think it was as
It
good as
wasn't New
part 1,
York.
to be fair, yeah.
I liked the
I,
Division
I
one.
recently went back to Division 1 and played it from
That's
start to
right.
finish.
Nice.
Yep, that's right. You were playing with your brother, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
do
we
the
got
same.
maxed out just about everything near the highest gear level, and then went into the dark zone, and it was just hackers. And it's
Love
like,
it.
okay,
See it,
right.
Sherry.
Come back. Please
I
come
wondered
back.
why he was in there.
So to get us back on topic, you've been playing Final Fantasy 14.
Yes, and Football Manager. And I just want to say this because Tom's here. Tomahawk likes Football Manager. I
Love
want to
Football
say
Manager.
there's one of the ultimate challenges you can do, Tom, is take over create a new manager in game, the holiday for a year until clubs are relegated from the lowest division and new clubs join the game. Delete the manager, create a new one, and with no experience, no coaching badges, right? Apply for one of the jobs of the newly introduced clubs into the game, and you're not allowed to sign any players for that club. You can only use the youth system. Go.
Ah,
That sounds utterly hateful, and I'm so on board.
It sounds amazing, in fairness. That sounds amazing.
There's like a lot of Football Manager stuff to be said about, like, is this going to be like one of those lifelong, the game's lifespan saves, or is this just until you
I
lose the
think it
wits?
has to. It's either ends in divorce or death.
Or glory. There's glory.
Yeah, but the glory comes about 50 years later.
Okay,
It's a
that's
long term.
Roy Hodgson career span, that.
In the Space League.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Space Jam.
Tomahawk. Let's move on.
Yes, Tomahawk.
Right.
Let's hear the games. And not why I said games, plural. What games
It's
is
always
Tommy
gonna be,
playing?
yeah,
Because
it's always going
Tom
to be
plays like
plays.
32 games at any one time.
That's it. You got to keep things fresh. You got like so. The main bulk has been taken up by Hogwarts Legacy, because I feel as
Okay.
if we haven't talked enough about Hogwarts Legacy as a trio these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. I love everything about it. This is one of those games because I've just come off the back of finishing Forbidden West,
Mm-hmm.
and this has just been breath of fresh air. This is one game that I think I will platinum, definitely.
Oh, really?
I
Really?
just
Oh,
there's
Have
something
you
about
looked
this
at
game.
the trophy list?
he's a
I
big
honestly,
boy.
Have you
like
looked at the trophy list?
no, I haven't. But this is one of those. I just I have a vibe about this game where I will look. I will go through probably every secret, every location, or do as much of it as I humanly can. Because
Yeah.
Doubt.
Spoken like a man who's never
never
looked at
seen
the
a trophy
trophy
list.
list for Hogwarts. It's a lot of time
Like
to get
at the
that
minute,
platinum. I
I'm
love the
looking at it.
enthusiasm.
I'm looking at the map and I'm looking at the size of the map, and I think where Hogwarts does so well, the Forbidden West tripped up on, is that Hogwarts kind of like goes, here's the full map, but like it gives you pockets of like bits to do, whereas
Mhm.
Forbidden West just went, there's LA, do whatever you want, and then just left you alone. It would nearly give you too much. Yeah,
Yeah, I get
massive
that.
nothingness in between.
Hogwarts kind of reminds me of Phantasy Star Online, where it's a big interconnected world, but segmented, and you can do everything in one segment and move on to the next.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. But yeah, no, I can tell you right now, I am not getting anywhere near the platinum for that. I
Okay.
won't have. I know for a fact I won't have the perseverance, and that's what it's going to take.
Well, I'm gonna have a
Perseverance.
check it after record. I'm gonna check the trophy list and reassess and see what happens.
Okay, so Hogwarts Legacy. I know this isn't the only one you've been playing. So go on ahead, hit us with the next one. Mate.
I've been playing. I went off and was doing Turok 2: Seeds of Evil, the PlayStation 4 remaster. Would you say, or just a
Remaster, yeah, it's just
yeah?
the same game, just being
It's
spruced up.
fine. We were talking about this just pre-record, and it's
Not
everything I remember what I love about Turok, but it's equally everything that frustrates me to hell with Turok. So,
How do you spell this Torog?
T
I look it up.
TUROK.
Okay. It's no,
fine.
It's one of those games.
It's
I
needlessly complicated, is what it
I
is.
loved it back in the day, but no desire to go back to it at all. It'll just be an exercise in frustration.
I'm gonna
That's
hammer
the
it home
one.
for a few days. That is exactly
Oh.
it. That is the franchise right there. I say franchise.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is a franchise. It had 3 entries on the N64 alone, so it's a franchise. It was a very successful one too. Dinosaur Hunter Seeds of Evil sold really, really well.
Very well.
Just seemed to
But
be an era when people wanted dinosaur themed games.
I mean, it's an era that's never ended in my house. I think I've said it weekly in this podcast.
I
Bring
honestly don't
back
think you've
Dino
said it enough.
Crisis.
I don't think you've ever said it. I
Yeah.
don't think Dino Crisis has ever been mentioned in this podcast.
Is
Humanity.
Dino Crisis a real game?
I hope so.
Like, do you think it's ever existed, or is it just a figment
knows?
of Luvva's dreams?
I mean, either or. It warms my heart knowing that I exist in a time frame where Dino Crisis once existed.
And that
Bring it
concludes
back.
this week's episode of High Scores Dino Crisis.
The official podcast of Dino Crisis.
This podcast was just exists just to get a Dino Crisis remake.
That's it. As soon as Capcom announce it, High Scores, High Stakes is done. Done.
We'll have done our duty. We'll have done God's
Thank you.
work.
Capcom, I know you listen. Make it happen, mate.
High Scores Dino Crisis. What else have you been playing, Tom?
Yeah, what else, Tom?
That's it. No, that's actually been it.
2 games.
2 games this
2
week.
games. Where's Alan Wake?
Yeah, where's Alan Wake?
I put it on the back burner and then I forgot about it completely. So I've only
How
the
sherry of
DLCs to
you.
do. So they'll get back to it eventually.
How sherry of you. That's only the DLCs.
Great behavior.
The writer is the best part of Alan Wake, in my opinion.
I know it started off so promising, and then I think once the PS5 arrived, and I was like, I'm gonna play Horizon, and then Horizon happened, and then I couldn't get away from it because I wanted to finish it so I could get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alan Wake has been pushed to the back because of Hogwarts.
Okay, cool.
I have time. Alan Wake
Fair
2 is not
enough.
till October, so we're okay.
It's the same day as... It comes out the same day as another game. And it's absolutely slipped
It's
my
not
mind what the other game
Spider-Man, no.
was.
It's like there's like 10 days difference.
Oh, it must be Super Mario comes out the same day as Spider-Man. Must be
Oh
that.
yes, that's right.
So it does. Excellent news. I have been playing 2 games. One I'm going to mention very briefly because I've only played a very small amount of it. Hogwarts Legacy. I remembered my character name, Siberius Glowburton, the greatest name of
I
all
love
time. And he is possibly the most gifted wizard that Hogwarts has ever seen and ever will see. I mean, there's
If
nothing
he's
he can't
anything
do.
related to Eli Toblerone in my playthrough,
I mean,
he's
we
very
need to
similar.
give
Absolute
Doris
gift.
Flemberger a bit of a shout out here now.
I'm not sure. I mean, paintings on the wall told me, mate, you're pretty special. You can do things not
Oh,
many wizards can do.
Those in-game generated NPCs that tell the character he's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all
I mean,
counts, mate.
It's solid
all counts.
evidence.
I mean, they said you can do things that only a handful of wizards can do. I mean,
Not everybody
myth.
can just walk into Hogwarts on year 5 and be an absolute god-given hero, picking up spells first time.
and just like jumps on a broom and beats the best broom guy in school. Nothing, no business. Like no business. But what I did,
brooms? There's brooms in the game.
Yeah. But what I have been doing in Hogwarts Legacy is, I don't know if anyone else is aware. I know you are, Cardinal, and I know Tom is, because Tom is the one who threw the gauntlet out of a screenshot competition for social media regarding Hogwarts Legacy. So I have been playing that game
sightseeing
with the only intention of getting the best screenshot that I possibly can.
Oh, beautiful. I can't wait.
Oh.
And basically my efforts involve putting on the most ridiculous costumes and going to various places in the outward.
You've done this
what about in
completely
game?
differently.
Oh, no, not in game. No, I just got Mrs. Luvva taking all the photos of me. Playing Hogwarts. That's what it is, right? But what I have been putting most of my time into this week is the most on-Luvva game ever, and it is Train Sim World 3.
Good grief.
This is unheard of scenes.
It is
untouched pastures.
I can't go through this anguish again.
Incredible experience. So it is. It's amazing.
What do you? So you just simulate a train?
Yeah. It's basically you are a conductor of a train, and you can pick from loads of global routes that are all real, and you just deliver freight or people to their stops at the designated time while adhering to all the rules of the rail. It's sounds really boring, but it's like totally chill, and it's really addictive. And even getting the train to move and stop is just, it's a great feeling.
It
Plus,
sounds like
Really
It sounds
nice.
like when you play Football Manager, but you pick Argentinian leagues. So the first year of the season is Admin Simulator. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
very much in that
Mm-hmm.
vein.
Yeah,
I'm not about that life.
it's one of those games that I've seen on like different storefronts, and I was like, that could be interesting to play, but I had never seen it drop to a price I'd be willing to pay for it. And then there was that Humble Bundle a few weeks back,
Oh yes, yes, I remember you saying.
and you got
Oh,
like
the Humble Bundle.
£300 or £400
Now
worth of train sim for
I
£11.
mentioned Football Manager there, and Cardinal wanted to chime in. So,
Go on
but
ahead.
let's see what he has to say.
I don't want to talk about it, but I'll just take my background off because Luvva has played his train simulator and enjoyed it, whereas I have played European truck driving simulator with this wheel,
Amazing. For
driven
those watching the
driven on the
video podcast.
streets of the Czech Republic, just to deliver some freight.
It is exactly
Uh,
what Fanatec wanted with that steering wheel.
100%.
It was in
That's what
there.
the
That's
force feedback's
Beautiful.
for.
I saw it in their
Just
patch notes. Yeah, they did a profile specifically for Euro Truck Simulator 4. But yeah, Train Simulator. Train Simulator
incredible.
is brilliant. And I was thinking, I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to buy more DLC for it. So went on to Steam, got up all the DLC. How much would it cost you to buy all the DLC available for Train Sim World 3?
I think I've
£8.
heard this before, and I think it's closer to £800.
Oh, it's well in excess of 1,000. It's like £1,200.
You're
Yeah.
joking.
No, no. For a train. So I was going to buy. There is a scenario. It's Lime Street, Liverpool. So it
Mhm.
involves all the Lime Street station and all the lines to and from it. And that by itself is £39.99. The train
Ooh,
for it is a steam train. The steam train is £7. £7 for a
Can't do that.
train. It is
that
ridiculous.
that's standard fare for
For
like
simulators.
iRacing. For
Mm-hmm.
simulators, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One car, one vehicle with all its coding and animations.
Like, to be fair to Train Sim World, I've loads of trains and loads of like routes and stuff because of the Humble Bundle. Every train controls completely different. They feel completely different. Everything is rendered like, I'm presuming, ridiculously well to the real thing. It's crazy. Even
High
getting
scores,
your
high sims.
getting your train moving in that game is sometimes an achievement. Just get it moving. It's
What
brilliant.
about your locomotive?
Hey!
Hey.
We're not doing a Kylie count again. And speaking of Kylie, let's locomotive right out of this section and into the next. Before Cardinal starts doing
Amazing.
his moving
I
around
can't
business
do it.
again. So
Oh dear.
Hold
this
on.
is where we bring on what we're going to be discussing this episode. So it's a continuation of the last one, which is our retrospective of season 1. I think the state of play when we left the last episode was episode 5, The Last of Us. And the league was looking something like me on top with 10 points, Tom in second on 10 points.
Oh, a
The reason I'm top,
technicality.
the reason I'm top is because I'm a superior game player and won more challenges, Thomas. That is not a technicality. That is
I
fact.
mean,
Okay.
Okay.
Fact. Don't make me go Rafa
Drink that
Benitez
in.
on you. Don't make me go Rafa Benitez, because I will. Cardinal was in third with 7 points, and Sherry was in fourth with 4 points. So without any further ado, let's go straight into episode 6, which was our infamous Sherry's favorite, The Evil Dead, which was top versus second, third, and fourth. So you three versus me in The Evil Dead, a game that we are well versed in and definitely did not just download it 10 minutes before we did this challenge. But The Evil Dead, talk to me about it, boys. What do you remember about this challenge?
Evil Dead. Yeah, being the professional podcasters that we are, definitely didn't go, oh, we need to play a game, don't we? And we did have another game in mind before the Evil Dead happened, and I can't remember what it was. There was another asymmetric one that we were going to do,
Predator, Hunting Grounds, I think.
and not everyone had it, or not everyone
Yeah,
could be bothered getting it.
not mentioning any names about the person who didn't download that when it was absolutely free on PlayStation Plus.
That's
I
right.
missed 1 month.
Doesn't matter. You missed
One
the
one month,
1
he
month
says.
in a
Look, we
podcasting
were
format.
landed with what was clearly a great game that we all got to play and enjoy equally in Evil Dead 2,
My
or
favorite part
whatever
of
it's
it
called.
was basically just going, "Have you finished the tutorial?" "Nope, not yet." "What do you have only tutorial?" So we were already on our like record schedule about 45 minutes behind because everyone had to download it. Everyone then
Mhm.
had to play the tutorial, which I think is the single worst tutorial of all time because they condense all the objectives into like 10
A,
feet.
sh- a straight line, yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't explain. Like I said it in the episode, like it didn't explain anything useful for the early game for me, but it explained
That's
everything you
right.
could do
Yeah.
later on really, really well. But as a tutorial, surely that you should start at the start and make way to the end. But they
It
just went
left a
straight
lot.
for this is all the cool stuff you can do.
Let's move on from the tutorial because we obviously did just download it, get online, and realize we had to do a tutorial. Um, but
Yes,
once we just started straight into the game and straight into recording, and Luvva was this bad guy who was haunting us, and the three of us had to work together to do something. I'm not even sure what we had to do.
I think if
Uh,
memory
but
serves, we had to collect pages from the Book of the Dead.
yep,
We then had to collect a
a
dagger,
dagger. Mm-hmm.
find an altar,
Mm-hmm. And
and
then
then
sacrifice the book.
yeah, and then I
Yep.
think that forces like a boss fight type situation.
I don't even think it does. I
Does
think
it not?
if you get the dagger through the book, that's it. It's over.
So the tutorial then just gives you a fake boss fight then?
Well, the Evil Dead, I have at a certain like terror level, I have the ability to spawn myself as a boss.
Ah, okay.
So I do, but I didn't get that far because well,
It's
you guys
decimated,
just
yeah.
didn't work as a team at all.
so in the first time we played it, and we had to scrap it because Sherry got stuck under a set of stairs, or
Yep.
like morphed into the
That's right, he
stairs.
Yep.
rendered through the map.
He became one
Yeah,
with a abandoned tower.
yeah.
But it was quite excellent though because you had got a fear level possess objects, so you decided to possess the car,
Hmm.
but
And then put
you
the car
decided
through the
to
door.
wedge the car where
Hmm.
it's not meant to go.
No, that's the whole point of the game. Let's
Yeah.
just go with it. But yeah, but the thing is that first run through, I hadn't a clue what I was doing, and it wasn't until pretty close to me putting the car into the tower and putting Sherry out of the map. That is what. Oh, that's what you do in this game. And then that when Sherry was like, "Oh, I'm stuck. Let's just restart and do a different map," type thing. That little 5 or 10 minute game we had already played had given me all I needed to know on how to be the
Which
Evil
is
Dead, basically,
unfortunate
and it
because
proved your
our
downfall.
second effort was what we actually recorded and
Hmm.
discussed on the podcast. And Love knew what was going on. I
Yep.
didn't really know what was going on, and I can't explain now. I couldn't explain then.
That's it.
But
No, the
and I
key to
think
those
Sherry,
games. Sherry didn't want to be there to begin with. I think he was mentally checked out and then was doing his
I
own
think
thing from the start.
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
morphed into the stairs was the final nail in the coffin.
But it's such a strange thing because I don't know about you lads, but I had a lot of fun playing that game because of I have no idea what's going on, and it made it just pure fun. It was just like, oh, this is really because there was no pressure to do well in it at all, and it was just like, oh, let's just have fun. And I had a ton of fun playing that game. It was let's be honest here. It's an average game, and average is being nice. It's not a good game. It is, I think, the worst game we played in season one.
I
But
would
Oh,
probably agree with that. In terms of like performance, it's not a great game. Friday the 13th better game,
I would agree.
a far more superior game.
Yeah, Friday the 13th
But
is a
someone
great game.
didn't download that either.
Yeah. In fairness, can you
Right.
download it
This
now anymore? In fairness, because they
It's
lost the
Infernus.
license. They lost the license in December.
it's on my
So,
library and I haven't tried it, so
I bet
TBC.
you will be able to download it because we owned it. So they can't
Oh,
withdraw
true
the
enough, yeah.
license from you. But I don't know if it's available to purchase anymore. I don't think it is. I think that might be the reason for Friday the 13th not to be done. I don't think you can purchase it anymore.
No, it was
But
it
good
was a
game.
funny old one because even getting into the playthrough for this, our proper attempt, we'll say, I remember our biggest downfall, really, not so much the working as a team thing, because we've never done that. Why start now?
Yep.
Was all four of us were in party chat
hmm
and we're
Now,
working against you.
I did say at the start, don't want
Oh
me to leave.
yeah.
Don't want me to leave this chat. And I was told, no. I did say that. I did say, don't want me to leave.
Yeah.
Well, we all make bad decisions,
Yep.
and I find I was like, we can't say where we're going, but we need
Mhm.
to discuss where we need to go.
Yeah.
Also, the mini map was the single worst mini map I've ever seen. You always had to blow it up for the whole screen to find
Yep.
out where you were going. And then I still remember say Cardinal, oh, we're at the spooky building. And the next thing you know, I see Luvva just going, I know where
Oh,
you are, guys.
see, it's at the start, and I
Yeah,
think I said this in the episode at the start. I thought Cardinal was trying to misdirect me. Well, let's go to the spooky mansion, but you weren't actually going there, but
we
you
did.
were. It's exactly where we're going. So I was double guessing myself, going, "Is he going? Are they going there? I'll go there
It's
Cardinal's
their
not
anyway."
smart enough to
psychology,
double
man.
bluff.
There was no tactics in it at all. You
No.
boys did absolutely atrociously.
We
No,
got the
I think we
pages.
just
That much I
no,
do
no, no.
remember.
I think we've discussed this enough. We've established it is not. It was not it, and our efforts were terrible. And as a result, Lava railed us,
Yep.
as I put
So
it,
much,
and we were divided.
so bad was the game effort from all of you, to be fair, but especially Cardinal. Cardinal's performance in that was utterly tragic. So much so that, if memory serves me correct, Cardinal was not there to discuss the gameplay section of that episode. Now, he will say, "Oh, my little baby was sick." Oh, blah, blah, blah. We all know you were embarrassed by your performance, Cardinal. Now's the time to admit it.
I think my child was embarrassed.
Embarrassed for you
Projectile
anyway.
That's
embarrassment.
she was. That's why she was like, "Oh my!" She saw your gameplay, like,
That's horrific. If memory serves
So,
correctly, anyway, Lova picked off Sherry first. Then it was basically
Mm-mm.
me. No, it was Cardinal. Cardinal did
Cardinal
finish.
first,
Sherry, yeah,
Cardinal
me.
first, then you, and Sherry was the last one alive.
That's right. Yes,
Sherry was
yes.
the last one alive. The only reason I know that was because of the points on the board.
The
So
point. So it's 0 for dying first, 1 for the next one, 2 for the next one, 3 for the win.
no, that's not how we scored it.
It
Oh,
was
So
screw me.
originally
it
a
it
metric
gives
of
scores.
winner and loser,
Yeah, so
but we changed it because it was
it gives
Oh,
scores. So it does at the end of every round. So, and I ended up killing all three of you, so I get the 3 points. And then Tom got third place and got a single point. And then Cardinal got no points. And then, in a shock twist of events, Sherry got the second highest score and he walked away with 2 points. So the league was me on top of 13, Tom second with 11, Cardinal third with 7 points, and Sherry last with 6. And that little performance by Sherry had a knock on effect for another point of the season, which was at the end of episode 7. Episode 7 was our Street Fighter episode.
do
Can we
we have
skip?
any
Can we
clips
just go straight to?
discussing the Street Fighter episode? Like, because what we did is a very dramatic draw
hmm
at the end of
They were
episode
all
6.
deleted. They all fell off the internet. I think we should
It's
just go to
funny.
episode 8.
I think I see the episode here, and we had a draw. Did I do the spinning wheel?
The whale, yep,
Did
yep.
yes.
Yeah, and it drew the rounds,
It
and
did, it did.
Tom was to fight me, Cardinal,
Yes,
and
yes.
Sherry was to fight Lover.
hmm
And Tom, what was it? What was it you said?
There was words said there.
There was many words said. I think it was lost in translation. It was
Just word for
cast out to
word, like
historians.
regale us.
It may or may not have been along the lines of, I've never felt more confident. And I've known never to say things on a podcast because it's there forever. And I will be haunted with those words till the day I die.
See, it's really weird because I have notes for this episode.
Of course, he's got notes.
And just for see the notes there.
The video
Yeah.
viewer. Yep.
The third one is I have never felt more confident.
Words
Famous
that
last
precede
words. Tomahawk, man. Famous
disastrous
last words.
events.
Incredible scenes, to be fair. Now, the reason you said that was because Cardinal was perceived as the easy draw because he has never played Street Fighter before. Am I right in saying that, Cardinal?
That's true.
And Cardinal, for the love of him, and we do love him, had no idea we were playing Street Fighter 5, even when it came to the discussion of it afterwards. You all played Street Fighter 5? Which one's that? It's the one we played.
Street Fighter.
It's the one we've just played, mate. But yeah, so Cardinal
many.
was the perceived easy draw, and you guys were semi-final 1. And remind me, what were the results in that one, Tomahawk, mate? Who won that fight?
Pretty sure it got whitewashed.
No, there was definitely a result. Definitely a result in that one.
I recall it as Tom lost both
Every
fights
game.
out of 3. Yeah.
Every game.
It was a whitewash.
Wow,
Which was a surprise, given that I had picked it up that week and played through a single player mission of Ryu, and that was all I knew.
The fact he calls him Ryu says all you need to know about Cardinal's knowledge of Street Fighter.
It was at this stage of the season where I thought I might be in trouble. And I think this point, knowing that I was going into the 3rd, 4th place playoff, potentially only getting 1 point, I was like, I'm starting to slip away here.
Yeah.
And the performance clearly showed. The performance against Cardinal was subpar. It was so bad that I lost the first fight outright. And then I think me and Cardinal just quit and went, that's it. And then we were like, oh no, it's best of 3.
Yeah,
so we had to go into a new lobby and do it again.
I love that. That's my favorite story of it. You didn't realize that there was these competition rules, so 3 fights, best of 3 fights wins. Yeah. Yeah. I drew. Obviously, you two drew each other. I drew Sherry. In that draw, I think I make the joke about him being Mansfield Town.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just me taking the Michael. Because he was obsessive about Street Fighter 5 when it first released. I mean, it was the only game he played for ages, and he only played Laura.
At least 10 days.
At least 10 days. Honestly, I think Street Fighter 5 is probably the longest I've ever seen him play a game. It was months. So he played it for months. He streamed it, I want to say, like every day on Twitch. It was crazy. So I knew he was going to be tough, like, and he ended up. So I think this was the week I think everyone expected me to walk away with 3 points because it's a Capcom game, and I not once did I ever say I was good at Street Fighter. But the only character I pick in Street Fighter is Ken, and I thought, in this, I was like, I'm not going to use Ken.
It's not entertaining enough, is it?
Yeah. I don't think it was entertaining enough at all. So I used my secondary character, who was Nash, just for entertainment's sake. But I think I said at the end of that episode, should have picked Ken. In fairness, the fight between me and Sherry was, I think, it was unreal. It was unreal.
We obviously didn't get to see it until maybe
the recording.
Just until the recording, watching it back.
Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible because we could only hear it on the party chat.
Yep.
And I know that I did it. I think I did a bit on our Instagram as well, just like doing teasers. Tell us, Luvva, about how you threw away
that last round.
Yeah.
Honestly,
victory from the jaws of defeat.
Honestly, that last round was. It took me a wee while to get warmed up in that fight. I think I lost the first fight 2 rounds to nil, and then I won the second fight 2-1, and then the last fight I won the first round. Shay won the second round, and then in the third round I tanked him until his last quarter, and then
Less. Yeah.
I dropped a combo, and then that was it. Dropped the combo, and he just pressured me, pushed me clean across the screen, and from what I had him in the corner, dropped my combo, missed it completely, and then he drove me from that corner to the other corner.
Oh, it was
Didn't give me a
relentless.
second. Frame trapped me completely. And just
You don't
annihilated
even
my
know what these
entire health.
terms mean, but it was a great fight to watch.
It was good crack. And that drove me down then into the third place playoff with you, Tom. And then it meant that the final was Sherry versus Cardinal. Me and your third place
Which
playoff, you were Cammy, weren't you?
Yes, Kami, yes.
And I was obviously Nash. I won the first game pretty handy. I think it was 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 indeed.
Second
So-
fight, you won the first round, and I
Indeed.
won this. I
Just
won the following 2, and then that was it.
made
Relegated
short
you
work.
to
Very much short work of that.
relegated you to one of your first weeks. Hold on,
I think this is the first week that I
your
actually
first
only hit 0
ever.
points. Yeah.
This is your first ever week of 0 points. So it
And
is
you could
episode
wonder
7.
you can wonder there where I started to think, is it a blip or is it the
Episode
start of the end
7.
for me? Yeah.
Episode 7 is the first, apart from Back for Blood. It's the first time you've got 0 points. That's pretty good innings. I didn't notice that actually.
It was
pretty. It's sharp. It's a 10 episode season. You're 7/10 through.
That's it. I mean, we knew Back for Blood that was a non-event essentially, but
Mm-hmm.
and I was always first or second for most of the challenges. So to actually
Mhm.
come, I think this is the big turn for me. I think at the first 0 points, I was just like, all right, dust yourself off into the next challenge. Now, yeah, I don't think I've really properly recovered from that, but sure.
Yeah. I'm just noticing it here. Episode 6, The Evil Dead, is the first time you get 1 point, and then episode 7 is the first time you get 0 points. It is a decline. It's a decline.
Season 1, Part 2 was not kind to me, to say the least.
No, no, it was not. Street Fighter wasn't kind to you. Street Fighter
No.
was not kind.
I was
But
humbled.
we still have the grand final. Cardinal versus
Yes.
Sherry. Cardinal, talk us through it.
Now, after witnessing the gargantuan battle of Sherry and Luvva, and me flapping about on buttons to slap around Tom with just nothing but hope and a prayer, I didn't have much hope. And it turns out I was right because Sherry completely spanked me silly in the final. I can't remember if I won a single round.
I don't think you did. I
I
think it was
don't
2-0,
think so
2-0.
either.
I think it was
Yeah,
2-0, 2-0.
it was pretty grim. I think I got like half health one round, but
Yeah.
nothing I did in the first game against Tom worked against Sherry at all, and I
It
had
was
no
the
plan B.
It was the sad duck in the corner and just kick out and hope for the best. Was a lot
Just
of your
I didn't
tactic.
I didn't know what a plan B even looked like.
Yeah.
But yes, so Sherry won. Sherry
Yeah,
took
Sherry
home the
won.
grand prize.
Sherry, I will say, Sherry is a ridiculously aggressive Street Fighter player. Like, he doesn't know anything, but he loves hitting buttons. He loves hitting
Yeah.
buttons, and he has a repertoire of moves.
Version 20.
And like, yeah, but here, fair play, because that was, I think I made a joke. That was episode 7. It was a high scores, high stakes tournament edition. It was it was a really fun episode to do because it was, whilst there was a lot of fights in that, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 fights, best of 3, all of them. So you had like 12 or 13 fights. It was the recording session for it was like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It was
super
hectic,
quick.
like, yeah.
It was super quick, but it should be noted that we opened just lobbies after we finished recording the actual
Aye.
fights and just round up and fought each other
Yes.
for a
Yes.
few times.
That was good.
Yes. That's when I took out McCann. I remember me and you were the last
He
two.
also chose Kay, the character, to fight with.
Yeah. Yes. 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 And this is what could have been. This is what should have been. I was like decimated all he is. But I do remember me and you, Cardinal, at the end, just teaching you how to play Street Fighter. Teaching you how to
Pretty
throw a
much.
fireball.
Yeah.
Remember how to
Yeah,
throw a
I was
fireball.
trying to get it. Hadouken.
But yeah, really, really good. So the results of season 7, episode 7 was
Not there
crucial
yet.
because we knew coming up was a 2v2, and we had decided way earlier on that it was going to be first and fourth versus
Oh,
second and
That's right.
third.
I
no.
So
forgot about this now.
up until this point of the season, Sherry has been bottom, but
Yeah.
at the end of episode 6, he moved it to within 1 point of Cardinal, and because Sherry won Street Fighter, picks up 3
And
points.
and therefore won the challenge too.
Yeah.
Cardinal came second, picked up 2 points. All of a sudden, there was a swing at the bottom of the league. So the league at the end of episode 7 looked like this. I was top with 14. Tom was second with 11. Your second week of having 11 points, Tom.
Congrats.
Sherry was third with 9 points. Cardinal was fourth with 9 points. And the reason Cardinal was fourth was quite simple. He had never won a challenge. Sherry, at this point of the game, has won 2, if not 3, if you include Back for Blood. I count Back for Blood as a win because he's only want to pick up a point. It's a win. So that means for episode 8, which was Rocket League, it was me and Cardinal versus Tom and Sherry. But tell me, cheaters, what were you doing in private during the week of Street Fighter? Remind everyone listening.
Behind the scenes at High Scores, Subtle Techs, and Actions headquarters, there was a move made, a transfer request,
Collusion.
where I reached out to Tom's representatives to arrange some practice because I thought, okay, I'm in third, Tom's in second in the league. Let's get some practice in and get points on the board and catch up with Luvva.
Absolutely disgusting.
We discussed tactics and plans,
Played them
rehearsed
out.
them.
Played out many tactics actually as well.
I
We had
thought
a
they were
great game
working
plan.
smashingly
We
well.
had a
Yeah.
great game plan to go in. And then the episode,
And
I think it
then-
was like the day before record, Luvva goes, you know the Cardinals bottom? Yeah, he's on my team. And I went,
It was the
what?
that was at the end of the recording of Street Fighter, because
It's
at the end of
awful.
that, when I read out the league positions, Cardinals
Face was a picture. Like
is a
it's
picture.
incredible.
Unfortunately, the viewers can't see it because we put the league table up, but Cardinals' face is an absolute picture as it dawns on him that
That he's
he
bottom.
and Tom are not going to be partners for Rocket League, that he is currently bottom of the league, which means that everything
Yeah.
he had been doing underhandedly, may I add, was for naught.
And to
How'd
succeed.
that make you feel, Cardinal? I mean, you're now with
How'd
the
it make me
big
feel?
dog.
How'd it
So
make me feel? I was suddenly I realized I was last. This is a complete injustice. My greatest fear of being caught and passed by Sherry had come true.
mhm.
And on the flip side, not only had I been rehearsing and practicing with the wrong player, I'd also discussed anything I knew and wanted to share with said player,
Mhm.
Tomahawk, now given to the other team.
Yep.
And how would that play out? I don't know. And now I have even less time to rehearse with my new teammate level.
But you're with the big dog now. Top of the league for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah, but I was
Never
a bit
lower
worried
than
'cause
second.
Rocket League isn't Capcom, so I didn't know how it was going to go.
Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. We had it in the bag, mate. We had it in the bag. I
Gosh,
mean, you saw Tom play. We saw Sherry.
what
Sherry had
was
that one good game. And
No, I'm
he,
gonna say about this actually. Sherry only played as himself, not paired with any of us, not practicing. He
yeah.
just went into a random line and he said he won 10-0 and scored 7 goals. Whereas I think I spent most of my time practicing with Cardinal, and then I think me and you, Luvva, had a game or two
Yeah, we
together.
had it. We had a good few games together, me and you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I actually never got any practice with Sherry.
Yeah, we played quite a few games, and me and Cardinal also got quite a few games in as well.
we managed to
This
make up for a
is
bit of time.
this is the week. I think this is the first challenge we had ever done where there wasn't a voice chat with all four of us in it. We had
It was
Blistered
in,
off.
Yes, so
yeah,
we kept ourselves separate.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, yeah. What a game it was. I can't remember the final score, but it was humiliating. Do you have the spreadsheet with the scores, Cardinal?
Of course I do. I've got
I,
every stat from every game.
I think
So
it was
the,
14-3 all in. If
I
I
think it might be something like that. I think the first one was 4-0. Go ahead, Cardinal. What were the
Yes.
scores of the games?
So we played 3 games all in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Best of
the
three.
first game, best of 3, absolutely. But we
no,
played 3 anyway.
sorry, it wasn't best of three.
It wasn't. It was goals.
Aggregate. It was aggregate score.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
That's right.
Okay, and I think we were giving a bonus point as well.
for the
But
golden
it was
boots.
3 points to the 2 winners and 0 points to the 2
That's
losers.
right. I
Yeah.
think that's what made it even more high stakes, really, because
Yep.
the losers
Higher
weren't getting
stakes,
much
much
1 or
higher
2
scores.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The winners were getting 3
S-
points. The losers were getting nothing, and there was a bonus point.
So it should be said, Lubba and I are able to chat to each other, and I'm not sure Sherry was in any way chatting to Tom.
Sherry doesn't chat in
And
games. We've learned this the whole way.
But this is the
we
thing.
have
This was the one game where he had his mic on his PlayStation. Because remember,
that's true
All
because
all
I
I
you hear
hear
remember
was his
editing out
voice. He
beeps.
swears. Yeah.
So the first game ended 4-0 to Lubba and Cardinal, and we scored 2 each.
Hmm.
And that was I think the first goal was scored very early
Yeah.
to set the tone.
It was like
from
15 or
It's like,
16
kickoff.
seconds.
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, which isn't the ideal start from one perspective, and it kind of is the ideal start the other. Game 2, much tighter game, much closer in it. 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a good
3-1
game too.
to
It was
Love and
very
Cardinal.
competitive, I think.
It was a good game. The scoreline doesn't suggest it, but it was really tight. And because you guys in the first game are very passive, second game, Sherry in particular, really aggressive.
Very
There was
aggressive.
something about how Sherry was actually playing the game. He wasn't on console.
No, he was
Like,
playing on PC. He was playing
So
on his
he-
laptop, and he was doing
yeah.
crossplay. Yeah.
So
He
there
was
was a lot
complaining
of
a lot of
issues
lag.
there. Yeah.
Hmm. And he
You-
probably was, in fairness.
Those issues came to fruition in Game 3
Big
because
time.
that was 6-1
Hmm.
to Lubba
And
and Cardinal, which meant an overall 13-2 was the aggregate score.
yeah. Yes. Oh dear. Oh dear.
That
oh
is
dear.
bad.
Yep. So that meant that me and Cardinal picked up 3 points for the win. Cardinal, if memory serves me correct, also picked up the bonus point.
So
I
Cardinal
think
had
we
the
went
golden
by
boot,
goals
yes.
scored.
Yeah, you won the golden boot, so you picked up a bonus point where Tom and Sherry ended up with nothing. So Rocket League, a really good episode.
I
If memory,
really enjoyed it.
yeah, this was
It was a
one of
good
your
week.
editing jobs, Cardinal, and I think this was the most ambitious we've ever been with an edit.
Oh,
So you
God,
did all
yeah.
the goals, all the action, and you had it all synced in, and you had when goals were scored, the person who scored it, their screen would get bigger and stuff, and it was a really, really good edit job. Really good edit.
You were always just following one person at
One
a time.
person.
Was
Yeah,
the
it was
the
really
attempt?
clever. Rather than just doing the quad, like the
Mhm.
quadrants that we normally did, it was even the passes, even like the actual cuts between passes and
Yeah,
shots. They were phenomenal. I
it was a
actually
phenomenal job.
really
Straight
appreciate
up
that
wouldn't want to
edit.
do that every week.
No.
But I think it
Definitely
was
are.
worth it because it was like I think it was the challenge for it because there's
Yeah,
so much going on. Rocket League is so fast.
it made it like an event type episode,
Yeah.
and it was like it's definitely our best looking episode.
I think whenever we had this in like pre-production, I think our vibe would feel like match of the day. That's
hmm
how that we had sort of envisioned it, and I think actually we were too far off. It was
No, it was.
very well executed in terms of the editing process.
It was. It looked brilliant. It looked brilliant. So that means at the end of Rocket League, I was top with 17 points. Cardinal was second with 13 points. Tomahawk, you were third with 11. Sherry was last with 9. So in that one challenge, Cardinals went from fourth to second.
Yeah.
Comfortable second as well. Which then started Cardinals' ascendancy. So it did.
17 points is a lot of points though for Luvva.
It is. It is. Not to
And
say it.
Big gap to bridge though, to
Yeah.
be fair. Even from the Evil Dead, where you've already got a 3-point gap and you're constantly first or second. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought at this point season one's pretty wrapped up.
So did I.
We're playing for second.
So did I. I thought it was if I did well at the next game, if I came first or second in the next game, I would say it probably would have been done, but it wouldn't have. But yeah, I thought if I do well in the next challenge, just don't come last in the next challenge was my mission statement. And I'm home and hosed effectively. No one can catch me. So our next game was episode 9, and it was Grip,
Chaos.
futuristic racing game, and it was chaos. 20 laps. Us
which is a long
four,
time.
us four, four bots, and it was carnage. It was just incredible.
I still remember this. I still remember the grip, the death grip on the controller. This is the only time we've done no party chat, no speaking, nobody said
Nothing.
a word. There was 20 laps of just silence
Mm-hmm.
and power-ups and just proper racing, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that way again,
yeah.
but
it was a great challenge. It was a great challenge, and it was just as you say, we did have a group chat on, and I think we talked for maybe the first 4 or 5 laps, and then the silence descended, and no one said a word to one another until it was done.
There was a moment where I think I'm quite proud of this. Cardinal definitely will be as well. We thought that Luvva, this is another challenge Luvva's going to with, and for the best part of about 6 laps, he was.
Easy, yeah. That was flying.
And there was this beautiful moment, the double laser cannon.
The double laser cannon.
I was absolutely destroyed.
We didn't even know
me.
It was just a double laser cannon. We had to go back to the raw footage from both our perspectives to see what had happened.
Because the cannon just shoots in a straight line. The cannon just goes through everything. So you fired first, hit Luvva, but I fired through you and hit Luvva.
Hit me. And it sent me flying through the air. My car landed facing the wrong way. By the time I got turned around, I think it was like there might have been just under 2 laps left.
That's it.
And it wasn't long to go.
It wasn't long, and I had led up until that point for like 6 or 7 laps, and I was cruising to another win, and that just absolutely wrecked me. I have never tried so hard in a game to catch up, but I put everything to catch these 2 up, and I think I finished about a quarter of a lap behind you.
The laugh was
ruined me.
Third was never in doubt because I think Sherry, he led for a couple of laps at the start and then fell into this battle. He fell into a battle of the bots, and he had a tough time of it, definitely.
Yeah, see, that was the thing that got me is how aggressive the bots were. Like, there was a part 3 or 4 laps in, and I was like sitting sixth, and it was just so difficult to get out of the mire of because you're just getting bombarded with the slowdown thing. That's a weird slowdown thing. The machine gun fire, the Stinger rockets. You're just constantly.
Yeah.
The bots were ridiculously aggressive. Sherry found himself last really early on and
It took a while
struggled to
to
get out of it.
recover. He did
Yeah.
recover for a minute, and then I think of power ups.
Yeah. If memory serves me correct, by the end of this one, Cardinal won.
By a
Tom came.
hair.
Tom
By
came
a
second.
Yeah,
hair.
not by much. Not by
I
much.
I
Yes.
came third, and I think Sherry finished sixth.
But he
Like he was.
didn't finish. I think it technically came as a
I
DNF.
hate
But
DNF.
yeah.
But he finished. He finished
Aye,
sixth.
that's it. Yes.
Which just goes to show you, once you get pulled into those battles with the bots, you're in a whole world of pain. It just becomes hard to get out of it, and you do need to just floor it, get a shield, and floor it, and hope
Yeah.
it gets you out.
It was a laugh though, because I remember when we were sort of conceptualizing this challenge, the
Mm-hmm.
grip has a mode where it's like Soul Survivor essentially, where every 30
Eliminator,
seconds, every 30 seconds they drop the 10th or the last racer.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that would have been as fun. Knowing
No.
that now, knowing what we've done, and like I think we actually did think is 20 laps too much, but I think over the course of the season, our gameplay had started to increase, and we were kind of getting
Mm-hmm.
to a lovely
Like 1
20
hour mark.
minutes.
Yeah.
There was like the laps you were doing them in about 70 seconds, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's
It was a bit of a marathon.
It
Like,
was, as you said at the start, like you're not since playing Alien Isolation have I put down my controller and had a sore back from playing video games because it was so tense. But at the end of that one, my upper back was killing me because I had tensed up so much, and it was great. It's one of those games. It's one of those challenges where I don't know about you guys, but uh, it's come across. It's passed my mind a couple of times. Of should we live stream the challenges and things like that? But I'm glad of that sort of distance between us and the audience. So it's a surprise for them, and it's more importantly, if it's an individual, it's a surprise for us as well watching it. But I think grip is the only challenge of season 1 that would change my mind on that, because I think if people had been watching that live, it would have been next level content, like, because it was brilliant. It was
I think
really, really good.
we'll go for episode 100. We'll grip and
We'll do a live
put
stream.
it on somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream. But yeah, grip. What a like
love is
not
revenge.
not a well-known game, not a successful game.
Mhm.
But it's a great game.
Yeah.
I
Great.
love it.
Great.
Brilliant
Question
game.
though, have you gone back and played it since?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Nope.
I try to continue my career mode. The seasons, I think it's called in it. I'm on season like 7. Ridiculously hard, almost impossible hard. It's almost impossible hard.
Okay.
I will say at this point, I found my attitude to the podcast points a lot different to what it was being stuck in last and third.
Okay, so how do you,
And
so
I was much more tense going into grip this episode and this race. And I remember like seeing you guys like Tomahawk and Luvva practice and thinking, damn it, I need to be on practice and I need get my life sorted out and get on here. It just suddenly I needed to accumulate some points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I like our format and I like the competition element of it. I think it sort of definitely motivates me to play the games.
Yeah. I'd rather than just do them on the day.
Yeah, I
Apart from
don't
Evil Dead.
think I don't. Apart from the Evil Dead, I don't think there's a single game, and Street Fighter, I don't think there's a single game where I didn't the week before put time into everything, because it's that. I don't know about you. My attitude coming into this was, I thought Tom would have been my biggest competitor in this season. Honestly, because I remember playing a good load of Xbox 360 games with Tom back in the day, and Tom was always decent at pretty much all of them. and I was like, Tom's definitely gonna be my biggest challenger. I didn't think I'd be sitting first and second the whole way through season one, because I know Cardinal, I know you play games. I know obviously Sherry plays games. We all play games, but you know what I mean. I
Yeah,
thought,
We
you
got our own
pigeonhole
niches.
you pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, and I
I
thought Tom would be my biggest competitor, and I came into season one honestly just not wanting to come last. And I was like, I can't, I
yeah,
don't want to come last,
See?
not on the
and that
podcast
Same.
he hosts. No, we can't be doing that. It
no,
would look bad.
yeah, and that was my aspiration. About week three, I was like, well, hold on a minute, I'm still top. Well, I mean, they're top or
We're
second
yo-yoing,
here.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just go for it. And then that's when I started. Yeah, that's when I took it. Yeah, I took it serious. Yeah,
That's
I
it,
was like,
because
it's
this
competition.
episode, this was episode 6, 0 points, episode 7, 0 points, episode
Mm-hmm.
8, 0
Yep.
points. So I got 1-0-0. So the
Mm-hmm.
rot was well and truly. So I went into
Oh,
this challenge knowing I needed
to do
pretty
something.
much I needed the win, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I
So
was it was a hair away from it though.
it
I was
it was. I think you logged the fastest lap.
like 50 something seconds. It was
Something
monster.
That's right.
ridiculous.
Monster lap.
Like you did post the fastest lap. So at the end of episode 9, grip, the league was me on top at 18 points because I came third, so I picked up 1 point. Cardinal still second, 16 points after picking up the win. Tom is third with 13 points after picking up 2. And Sherry's bottom with 9. I remember at this point, Sherry was like, I just need to get into double digits. I think that was his
Yeah.
aspiration to get into double digits. And I think, was it at the end of episode 9? It was. End of episode 9 was when we declared the big twist for this season finale,
That's right. Yes.
Oh goodness.
which was, it was, let's be honest, yeah, I did go, you know what, we're going to play a game. And I think there's going to be up to 100 points. Wasn't that the kill
That's it.
limit?
Yes.
Which brings on to episode 10. Episode 10 was quick, but it wasn't
It's
always quick.
supposed to be Doom.
It was meant to
It
be
was meant
Doom.
to be Doom.
Doom 1993 was meant to be Doom. And I think the day of the record, I
As
jumped
always.
onto PlayStation to practice some Doom. And I was like, well, I might as well practice the online because that's what we're going to be playing. And then that's when I met with the horror that Doom 1993
It's not
does
online.
not have network play. So a message was thrown onto the group chat. Oh dear. Oh dear, what will we do? And then I just jumped on, thought, what's like Doom? First game popped in my head was Quake. Quake just so happened to be on offer on PlayStation Store that week.
It
So
was
we played.
$3.99. Yeah.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Like, and then
I spent part of that day playing through Doom 83. Just
uh,
as well.
yeah, I was the same. I got to like the third chapter of Doom just that week, and I was like, oh, I might as well practice the online. Oh no.
Do you know what though? Knowing that this is like the big game coming up and the big like reveal of up to 100 points,
Up to
I know
100
prep.
points.
I didn't even do Doom prep. Never mind, not bloody Quake prep. So my
Wow.
approach to this was very lackadaisy.
Yeah. So so I think it was at some point between us all going online and starting the game, we were like, oh, hold on a minute. This is an actual first person shooter. It's not like Doom. And
Mhm.
then the fear set in of Sherry,
Sure, I could
and we
just
all,
maul it.
yeah, and we all
What
know
Sherry
his,
capable of.
yeah. That was when, oh no, because Doom is not really a first person shooter. Let's be honest here. It's all single playing. There's no Z axis, like, but yeah. And then that was it. So we set the time limit to 20 minutes. Set the
Tried and
frag limit.
tested, yeah.
Set the frag limit to 100, and then picked the map, and then just went all out for it.
Anarchy.
I knew my plan was I'm 2 points ahead of Cardinal. I can't finish more than 2 kills behind Cardinal, otherwise I am done. I am toast, and he's gonna win. Honestly, Tom, no disrespect, I wasn't worried about you. I wasn't
Oh,
worried about
I wouldn't
I
have been
wasn't
worried
worried about
about me either.
Sherry.
You weren't worried about Sherry? I was absolutely worried about Sherry.
I
I
wasn't worried about
think
Sherry, but I think at the start of that game, Sherry goes into this massive early lead. He just
Mhm.
flies out the blocks, and I was like, "Ugh,
I think in the first
eh,
sort of 5
ugh."
minutes or so, he's about 8 or 9 kills
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, ahead. I think at one point of the game, in the first 5 minutes, I think he's 12 kills ahead of
Yeah.
me at some point. And what I liked about Quake was it controlled really well on the controller, which is strange, and it was really smooth. But what I liked about it was there was no real point where any of us was cut adrift. I think any of us could have won that challenge at any time.
I think everyone would have played to a particular time frame.
Hmm.
Had a bit of shorter game. Sherry might have just absolutely decimated it.
Yeah,
Maybe a bit
yeah,
longer. Someone else maybe can step up and start to
yeah.
build a lead there as well. But there was never a moment where no one was a million miles away. We're all
No.
within
Can I,
two,
can I
three
just
kills.
say 5 minutes in,
Hmm.
we're talking about this. I've just checked the video. Tomahawk was leading with 11 kills. Sherry was in 9 kills. Luvva and me were both on 5.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
It's just it was nuts as a challenge. Like any one of us could have won that. I mean, we all went on our own wee streaks at different times. So it's at certain points it looked like, oh, Tomahawk's unstoppable, Sherry's unstoppable. There was a long time where it was you, Cardinal, and then near the end, maybe the last 5 minutes was my sort of
Because you were
streak
bottom for
period
a good
for the whole fight.
stretch of it, yeah.
You
Hmm.
were.
For the whole fight until maybe the last 5 minutes when I just went on this sort of. I just got. It took a while to learn the strategy. So getting to the weapon you want and keeping it restocked whilst
Yeah.
sort of giving yourself the upper hand in all the fights you're going to come into. But yeah, it was as a last minute addition to it. Quake couldn't have went better. Quake was brilliant. It was a
Quick
really
was
really good challenge.
solid.
It was a complete wild card. But it was brilliant. And I've just checked 5 minutes left. Luvva is last.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and
Oh,
Hi.
Tom's about 5 points behind Sherry and me, still at the top.
Yeah, I
so
was
even
last
at that
for
point,
the whole fight.
even the way that sits, 5 minutes to go, Lava's sitting probably third overall. Like after you take points into account, then
I think I was
you're
significantly behind though, wasn't I?
yeah, you're at the point where
I could have come last.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that
And
was
that
like the joy of that happened. Yes, because we only did it for 10 episodes. We were sitting there. How do you make it competitive? How do you make that a bit more entertaining rather than just
yeah,
bang out 3 points at the
that
end?
was it because we had to make it so everyone had a motivation to be competitive. So that was the thought process behind let's make it 100 points because you know yourself, Sherry, he had no chance of finishing anything other than bottom if it was the normal points scoring system. So we had to make it appealing to him and make it appealing to all of us. We had
Yeah,
to have a reason to play the game. All of us needed a
Yeah.
reason, but also for entertainment. We're creating content here for the entertainment of other people. It has to be interesting to watch, and you have to have a story, don't you? You have to have a drama.
a good arc. Yeah.
You have to have drama. That's the thing I've taken away from season one is we need to have stories. Like it's like pro wrestling almost. You need to have a story. Cardinals sub story in this is the story of the season
Oh, just you
because
couldn't write that though. Mr.
Cardinal,
Consistent the whole way through it.
yep, Cardinal.
Yes.
I
Captain
think
third place.
apart from Cardinal always picks up points except for the Evil Dead.
I'm back for blood.
Which was a shambles.
Well, yeah, we don't count Back for Blood.
Yeah,
But the only proper week Cardinal doesn't pick up points is episode 6. Every week he picks up points. It's frightening. Sherry, I think, made the joke at the end of episode of season 1. He won the same number of challenges as I did.
Which is
It's
shocking.
which is
that's
shocking,
too
but it
funny.
Andrew,
is. It is. I think Sherry's points, apart from one, were all
Or
first
challenge
places.
wins, yeah. But that's a
Hmm.
laugh to say that, like, 'cause it just shows then that it's about putting points on the board rather than the challenges you win, because evidently that
Yeah.
has amounted to very little in the long run.
In the long run, yeah, it's crazy. Before we talk about overarching all that stuff, we'll finish off quick. So 100 points were available. Shock heart, no one hit 100 kills because 20 minutes isn't a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. So I ended up, obviously, Cardinal was our winner. Cardinal ended up with 47 kills, which meant on the league table he finished with 63 points. I finished the league. Oh,
Same.
I finished the game with 40 kills, 58 points. Tomahawk, you finished third, 38 kills, 51 points. And Sherry brought up the bottom with 30 kills, 39 points overall. So there was a swing there. I was going into that challenge, I was 2 points ahead. I finished 5 points behind. So it was a 7 point swing. 7 point swing, me and Cardinal. But Cardinal's ascension to glory essentially started, ironically enough, with Street Fighter. So your last 3 or 4 challenges is 2 points, 3 points, 3 points. So it is
So if we had
mental.
done it, say we'd done it the metric without the 100 points,
Hmm.
how does that fare for the table? Because my math is just not, my brain's not
I
working.
I would have ended the season with 20 points. Oh, hold on. Yeah, he came second. So I would have finished the season with 20 points. Cardinal would have finished with 19 points.
Oh, okay, so you would have edged it then.
You would have finished with 14 points. Sherry would have finished with 9. I just would have, it would have been 1 point win. A 1 point win
1 point
for
win.
me.
I was sitting there
Hmm.
thinking, part of my brain was sitting there, what if it's a tie? Because we never accounted for there ever being a tie throughout
We
the
would
entire
have
season, to be honest.
separated the same way we did all season. Whoever won the most
But
challenges.
I think for a season finale, I think
Tiebreaker.
you'd have to pick a tiebreak game, basically. Yeah.
Titanfall 2.
And and speaking of tie-break games, it was at this point that we learned that Luvva wanted to play a grudge chip. No, there's two things for this. Luvva told me he wanted to play a grudge chip on the points of the final game there to
Oh,
steal the win.
brilliant.
The other
Oh,
flip side of this I do want to bring up for is Luvva lost by 5 points, but he had 6 suicides in
yeah.
Quake.
Hmm.
That's right. He did. It's
Which cost you
it
six,
docks you a
six
point.
kills.
Yes, that's right.
Docks you a
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, you're effectively losing 2 kills almost. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes, I did. That night when Quake was done, I did honestly contemplate
Like
cashing
hovered
in
over
a
the
You've mentioned it a
grudge
few
chip.
times.
I did, and I was like, "Doing the what? No, no. We'll let Cardinal have it. Well earned win." But yeah, I did. It crossed my mind. It crossed my mind. I was raging. I was like, "No."
I think you did. You sat in silence for a good few minutes actually, and then you just sort of went, whatever. It is what it is.
I think looking ahead at season 2, that kind of shenanigans, you should just open the gates.
Oh,
What do you mean?
Forget the
yeah,
politeness.
bring in
Just
utter carnage.
yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I think this season, and we forgot to mention it, Tomahawk. This season there was one grudge chip played,
Just the
and
one, that's right.
it was by you. I think you cashed that in after episode 6.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was, no, it was cashed in on episode 6.
Episode 6 is when we played that game. It
Yeah,
was. It was. But it was cashed in for episode 4.
that's
It was
right.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2. You won the game. What I would like to see for season 2 is grudge chips being used,
Played for
because
points,
it's,
actually, yeah, rather than for
yeah.
pride.
I think we may rethink how the grudge chip works for season 2. Because I think the logistics of it, explaining it to an audience is a really difficult thing to do. There's a lot of different parts to it. we'll certainly look at it and see if there's anything we can do to make it a bit
To
easier to
make it a
understand and
bit
a bit easy to implement
exactly.
and all that good stuff. But yeah, season 2. What have we learned? How have we grown as content creators,
We're
gentlemen, over
too
the course
nice
of
to each
season
other.
1?
That's exactly what it is. We're like, it's just sort of circling back. Like only one grudge ship played. Just shows we're too nice. There was no. I don't think there was enough cutthroat competition.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? We were polite with one another, nice to one another, and we played fair in games. And I don't think that's going
Did
to be the same way in season 2.
I
hmm
think there's going to be a bit of underhand tactics into
I
season 2,
think,
definitely.
yeah, I think we now have previous, and I think there'll be a lot of letting each other know we're there early in the game, so to speak. I think, yeah, I could see season 2 being a bit more
Manic.
aggressive, a bit more competitive.
Feisty,
Yes,
friendly.
yes, I would, I, yes, I'm going to look for reasons to call people out. I'm going to say that.
Too right.
Coming for you, Cardinal.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
listen,
still looking to lift my cup.
you can't use season 1
No,
as a reason to cash in season 2. It
no,
doesn't work that way. That much I do.
no. We can't go that far back in time, but who's to say some things might happen? Like, I don't know. Someone pauses certain sim to pause time to go check YouTube. Could be a reason.
I
That's all
don't
I'm saying.
think Sherry's not here to defend himself, so
Sherry's not here to defend himself. But yeah, I think the one thing, as content creation wise, one thing I think we've all got better at is reading each other's cues and knowing when to talk and when someone else wants to speak. It's not
Don't know
perfect.
what you mean.
never. We've
Hey,
always been anarchy, chaos.
We haven't.
I
Yeah,
think
well, yes.
if you listen to the first few episodes and then listen to the last couple of episodes, I don't think anyone would say we haven't got better at this whole podcasting malarkey.
That's it.
Still a lot to be learned. Still a lot to be implemented. Still a lot of tidying up to do. And I've no doubt there'll be format changes here and there.
Oh,
Nothing mega, but
absolutely. I found that the
High
biggest thing
scores,
is doing
many format
tie-ins.
changes.
Yeah, in terms of the format, I find doing tie-ins on other social to be the big learning curve, and it's keeping everything, not so much relevant, but keeping it fresh and keeping everything
keeping
like
it
well
going.
informed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So, but and speaking of socials and keeping everyone informed, we'll go to the final section.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Right. I don't have my notes in front of me this time. So,
Oh, Ablip.
buckle up and prepare for chaos because this could be chaos. All right. If you want to follow the podcast on the social medias, we're on all of them. We're all over the place. We're all over the show. We are on Instagram at High Scores High Stakes Podcast. There we will do clues and hints and tips of what the next episode is going to be, what the game is, what the challenge is going to be. If you want to know, get yourself over there and follow us. If you want to get the same sort of content on Twitter or X or whatever it's being called, at H Scores H Stakes, we do similar stuff there. We also do This Day on PlayStation, where we delve through the calendar of PlayStation release history. We've finally stopped doing NCAA football games. I did and was very, very tempted to start doing Madden, but I haven't. Also, a few days this week, there's been literally no releases. But get yourself over to Twitter. There is good place to get yourself into the conversation and tag us in things that you think might be fun. I'm at Mr. _Luvva _Luvva. Cardinal Smith is at Cardinal _Smith_. Tomahawk is at Tomahawk _HSHS. Mr. John Sherry is at Mr. John Sherry. If you want to take part in the challenges that we play each and every week on this, the best place to do that is Discord. The link is in the description below, wherever it is you're listening to this. There we have little servers for every single episode. Go post your scores. We have leaderboards running there. We also have just general discussion and stuff. There's loads and loads of things to do in Discord. Discord's probably our deepest, easiest place to get into the conversation of high score, high stakes. And spoiler alert, but I have recently created a twitch.tv account for the podcast.
Oh, ye saucy minx.
I know,
Ooh,
right?
devil.
It is at high scores, high stakes on twitch.tv. What that will be is undecided at the minute, but we will be sharing the streaming duties on that. It could be
Yeah.
us practicing challenges, could be us playing multiplayer games together, it could be just one of us playing a game that we're currently playing, just streaming it for the entertainment for everyone else. But if you do like your live streams, get yourself over to twitch.tv/high scores high stakes, because we follow there as well. We will have no schedule, I think it's fair to say.
It'll be
Lads,
loose.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It'll be
as and
loosey-goosey.
when we're available, but
Yeah,
there'll
get
be
over
no
there.
format really. It'll just be fun and a bit of chat.
Get over there, hit the follow button, and be notified when we do go live, because we will go live, it's fair enough. But I don't think I forgot. Oh, the other one, threads at High Scores High Stakes Podcast. Threads. Go over there if you still remember that's on your phone, because I know I often forget it's on my phone. It was a beautiful thing while it lasted. Those 2 weeks were wonderful, wonderful weeks. I must pick up on that one again. But yeah, and that is all of our social medias. Am I right?
Did we say
YouTube.
YouTube?
YouTube. Get
Bingo.
yourself over to YouTube, where we are uploading all the episodes thus far on full 1080p video format. But
Fab.
I think
He
that's
did it.
everything.
I think he did it.
We've done it. We have done it without really
Yes.
stuttering as well. Go team. It's a lot of social medias. So as you were saying, Tom, that's the real challenge of podcasting, is embracing
Maintaining the
social
socials.
media and
That's
doing it on all of them at the same time. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. We are trying, and we should get better at it, but yeah, it's a real challenge. But this is our last side quest, which means season
Yes.
2 is right around the corner. We have slipped
excited.
in the off season. We have sort of switched from a 1 week cycle to a 2 week cycle. This is going to be our last 2 week cycle, and then season 2 comes, and we're going back to each and every Monday. So
Love it.
until episode 1, season 2, I've been Mr. Luvva Luvva. This has been High Scores, High Stakes. Love you all. Bye.